How I find it always very difficult because if you look into the media nowadays, you see these extremely fancy and very crafty sketches,
Yeah.
but it takes away so much of what the actual design process actually is. It shows oftentimes that the designer in the representation is almost like a painter. Yeah, somebody who comes up with an idea and then other people will do it for them. How do you communicate that design is so much more than just a sketch, that the sketch is part of this entire process to not only your students, yeah, because obviously a lot of them quite naive in the beginning come in like, yeah, we want to do some cool sketches and all these
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
but also educate your, you know, the partners that you have, the companies that you do projects with, just to look at these students differently and not just to say, don't always just look for the best sketcher, look for what is the best designer, because it seems sometimes to me that, you know, they're competing for the next cool stuff rather than, you know, actually understanding what is the best designer out of this. And how do you deal with that? I mean, do you lead your students, of course, but or do you also lead the partners that you do projects with, or do you just sometimes have to you know, give in and just like, look, if you just want to have the best sketcher, well, then that's the way it is.
Hmm. Well, the fact is, I don't think anything has changed in the industry when you think about the students or the new graduates that get the interview or that get the internship. Their portfolio is always full of the really super hot sketches, right?
Hmm.
So while a lot of hiring managers and design leaders will talk about how you know the customer is always right and putting the customer first and user centered design um, and all these other very virtuous kinds of ways of approaching what we do. The hot scotch always is the one that gets the job or gets the interview, and students know that. So what I try to do is, and this is kind of the vision and the mission of my department, and that's you know each each one of these young people have to be thoroughly steeped and versed in the mastery of traditional skill sets, and that's in the first 2 years. And after that, the junior year and the senior year, okay, what are you going to do with it? And it because everything is just so regurgitated or incestuous now with Instagram and Pinterest. Everything is it's so rare to see something really fresh. Hot sketches are all over the place, but if it's really fresh, then it's like wow. And that might be just a sculptural idea, or it may be a functional idea. But when you see it, that's what's outstanding because the hot sketch has become, kind of I don't know. It's you, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of democratized in a way.
Hmm.
There's a lot of really good schools. CCS is only one of them. I think we're the best, but you go to Florsheim, you go to Art Center, and there's a lot of hot sketchers coming out of all these different places around the world. Even Kaffa now in China.
Yeah.
So the what distinguishes the hot sketch or one student's hot sketch from another is the content and the meaning that's imbued in the work. And so through our design theory classes, we talk about these issues of um, the starting point for any given project.
Mm.
And you know, if it's purely aesthetic, that could be okay. It's still, it has to be built, and it's you want a quality execution of that. But there's always going to be another opposing factor, and this goes back to the early days of the Bauhaus, the form and the function. So the hot sketch is the price of entry.